All right, everybody. So it looks like Roland Martin, all last week, everybody was talking about, he's a commentator and he's more of a political commentator. And Roland Martin ended up going viral last week because of some compromising videos, I guess, that came out about him. Here's the thing. I know that everybody was looking at the videos. He was all compromised and everything like that. But what you guys have to understand is this. He's been a political commentator. He used to have his show, which they canceled. And then he was a political commentator. He has his own YouTube channel. And he is a very powerful voice when it comes to political issues, particularly helping the Black community vote and be the voting landscape and maintaining that influence. And I feel like what happened is he started talking about things more like grassroots rate. We don't need to be voting for neither of these parties. We need to get away from that. And you need to be able to, we don't need to get into the voting thing because it's two of the one and the same. It seemed like he was changing his tune. The Democratic Party for years have backed Roland Martin in helping him. Oh, someone making noise. The Democratic Party has basically, one of the influence that the Democratic Party has used was Roland Martin in order for him to help influence Black Americans to keep voting blue no matter who and keep that base steady. He's one of the steady voices. That's what I remember. Now, I don't really get into too much politics, but they were instrumental in using Roland Martin to be the voice to keep the political party going. And it looked like Roland Martin was stepping away from that. And they rely on the Black American community to keep the voting base, keep the votes democratic, keep that thing. And it looks like him being very influential, they were like, oh no, we got some scandalous. It was a video. And they had that girl there and she was doing all kinds of things. So they were political. There's a YouTuber by the name of Poetic Flacco. I don't pay attention too much to these guys. Poetic Flacco was the main one that got a hold of the video, and then he took it to Tasha K. And it appears that the word on the street is that Roland Martin, he's trying to quit. He's trying to keep this scandal down. Nobody wants scandal. He's trying to keep the scandal down. Roland Martin is wanting to sue. I don't know if he's filed or he's threatening to sue. And so I don't know what they're going to do. Tasha K is saying that her lawyers looked it over and they're saying, look, we're not going to share the video. We're not showing it, but we're just going to talk about it and we're going to describe it. But then again, even if you're not showing the images, you're not showing footage, but you're giving a lot of information. So they felt that, well, maybe if we give details and we're not liable for a lawsuit because we're not showing any image. We're just simply speaking. But sometimes that may not work. I'm not too sure about the law on that when it comes to libel. But Roland Martin is behind the scenes threatening to sue them. I don't know if he started, but the word on the street is that he wants to sue them. And they may be in trouble for that because he don't want too much talk about this. That's real, guys. Sometimes we're an influencer, political influencer. They've given you a lot of money on the back end. They've given you a lot of money on the back end for you to do stuff. And here you are, yabba. You want to take your influence somewhere? They said, what? We're going to send out this video. And by the way, we're going to have these YouTubers talk about it. I don't know. That's just my imagination. So that's kind of what's going on. And, these guys, when it influence, they want to stray with, listen, when you take money from like organizations for you got to be really careful if you want to pivot. It's like with the trad wife situation. I'm going to talk about that later. That's a topic for another day. But what I did want to touch on is whenever you've been an influencer for so long and something else, and then you want to pivot, you don't want to give anybody a reason. It's like everybody really upset with you. You understand? And then they're like, oh, it's on you here. And they gather something and if you don't behave, we're going to show this. We're going to show the people what you're doing, Sometimes they give you a warning. You say, hey, we're going to show this about you. You want to continue this or you want to not continue it? And if you want to continue, we got more where it came from. So it's just those things that, and you know, Black community a certain way, but people expect a certain way of you. Once you present yourself a certain way, it's either the audience bashes you or like the Roland Martin, your political views and your influence, you're trying to lead people away from the political party that relies on a certain particular demographic. And there's so much money behind that. So they showed the scandalous video, and it apparently we're not treated, it doesn't look good. I didn't go looking for it. But according to Tasha K interview with Poetic Flacco, you know, those two, they gotta be careful because, you know, lawsuits by Cardi B and actually losing the case on that and having to pay Cardi B and stuff. And as much as the tea tantalizing, okay, but even description is too much. So, you know, you got to avoid that. So, it's not your own. Once you start taking money, that's just imagination. And them giggling and going through and talking about. And the thing with some of these YouTubers, they'll run and tell these like sensational stories, but a lot of them had political views that were opposite the people that they're talking about. Because Roland Martin always was pro-Democrat Party, this and that and the other. And you know, Poetic, I mean, there's that's like giving him the business, like exposing him for like being pro-Trump. And then now that you're not pro-Trump, and then you're running and like giggling about Roland Martin sort of deviating from the Democratic Party. Yeah. So anyways, that was pretty interesting.